Alright guys, ears here, Vapor Trail. Going to show you today how to take off the regular stopper on the Limb Driver Pro and install the universal up and down activation limb driver. If you've never done this before, adjusting spring tension or something, it's a little bit tough, so thought I'd just run through it real quick so it'll make it a little easy for you. Probably the best way to do it is start with the stopper, loosening this actual spring retainer. So just loosen that guy up. So now you don't have any spring tension. You can slide that stopper all the way out if you want. Next, loosen the set screw on the bottom of the actual stopper. So you can loosen that all the way up. Now you should be able to pull that stopper right off. This is obviously the new stopper, but you'll have an old stopper on there before. While I'm in here, I'll actually show you how to just completely disassemble it. Take this, you can pull the shaft all the way out. So you're going to look just like this. Your spring, there's a recess back in behind the bushing, a little hole that your spring is going to sit in. You've got your little end of the spring that'll sit right down in that hole. And then you've obviously got your spring stopper, or your spring retainer, I'm sorry, sitting on the shaft like this, and the two holes want to be facing away from the launcher blade. So the two little holes in there, they need to be facing away from the launcher blade. And the way I do it is put that right through, get it on there. Now this is obviously the new one. It's going to go in the same exact as the old one. We want the longer arm. There's a long arm and there's a short arm. You want the longer arm facing back towards you, or away from the main bracket. And the way I do it is you want to put it so there's just about 1/8 of an inch of the shaft sticking out from the stopper. And the way I do it is you can hold your stopper just like this. So hold the closest end to the bowstring in the down position, and you want to rotate your arm so it'll rotate the whole shaft. I rotated it about 45 degrees, mainly so it's sitting in an angle that goes right across this bottom corner of your square. There's a little square here on the adjustment bracket, basically so it crosses like right down here. So hopefully you can see that. Sits just like that. Then without rotating that shaft, tighten down your stopper just like that. And you're going to take your spring retainer and you want the set screw facing back towards the the closest end of the stopper. So you want your set screw sitting like this. There's going to be two holes in the spring retainer here. You're going to take that the end of your spring, run it right into that hole, and you've got it snugged up against, so it's pressed all the way in here. Your stopper's pressed all the way here. And the way I do it is take your set screw, and you want to rotate that whole spring retainer around to about that position. Hopefully you can see that. So basically I do it so usually it comes right off the top of your stopper arm here. Tighten that down. Should be ready to go. Now with the new one, you're going to install it, like I said, with the long arm facing back, the short arm facing forward. Before, you would obviously run the cord down this way, through the hole, pull it back up like that, tighten it down. With the other one, I mean, it's basically just the exact mirror. You're going to come up through the bottom, and there's a little bit of tight in here, but if you want to push it down, run your cord up through the bottom, and then around the top, and you'll just pull your cord down so it pulls the launcher arm down, then tighten your set screw. You don't have to tighten it too tight, just tight enough so that the cord is held in place in there. A lot of people like to crank down on it really hard. Sometimes that'll cause a little bit of excessive wear on the cord. So I usually recommend just doing it just tight enough so it holds that down, and then give it just a little bit more of a snug turn. But that's pretty much how you're going to take apart and install the new stopper. I mean, you want to make sure that that these two pieces were snugged up together. The stopper and the spring retainer are pushed together like this. Good enough so there's no left and right play in the shaft there. But once you get these locked down, you shouldn't have any problems with it. Sometimes after you take it apart, if you happen to have it so it has like a little bit of drag on it, what you can do is just take that that little piece that's sticking out of the shaft, just give it a couple taps real quick. That'll loosen it up. Sometimes you'll get it actually pull the stopper in a little bit closer to your nose piece. Once you give that a pop, it basically just sets everything in straight and you're good to go. But that's pretty much it. I will show you how to actually attach it to the bow now and set the whole thing up. All right, now that I showed you how to put the new stopper on and set the set the whole kind of limb driver up, I'm basically just gonna do a little quick installation video. I'm not gonna go over like any types of tuning or anything like that, but just basic installation and possibly a couple of pointers that that you might find useful. But I'm left-handed, obviously, so it's a little bit backwards for most people. I do it the right way. Right-handers are, I guess the opposite of the right way. So I guess you'll have to just deal with it. Just go ahead and install it. As far as up down, you obviously want to get your burger, the launcher straight across the burger hole. You can rotate the launcher arm a little bit if you want with the shaft, the way I showed you in the actual setup video. If you want it to be angled down a little bit more or angled up a little bit more, you're just going to loosen the spring retainer and the stopper just like I showed you, and rotate that however you want. Now there's a little flat piece down here on the shaft, on the end of the shaft, and that's what the set screw goes onto, tightens down onto. So obviously you don't want to rotate it past that flat spot, but you should never have to. If you need to do that, you got something else you need to get figured out. But basically I always set mine up so when the launcher arm comes down, it stops just before the shelf. It almost contacts the shelf, but it stops just a little bit before. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch or maybe even a little bit less than that. So when I install my actual pad, my shelf pad on there, when the launcher arm comes down, it's going to contact right on the top of that rubber pad. It's not going to be pressing into it hard, in the down position, but it will contact it. That way it kind of deadens the sound of it. So basically, this is going to be obviously the new stopper setup. Typically you would have have your activation cord tied up to your limb, run it down through here. Typically the sweet spot on most of the activation cord where you put the limb pad, I usually say about right where the the edge of the cam and the limb are going to meet. So if you ran your finger up your limbs, where it hit the cam, right there is where you want to put it on the limb. Obviously on a split limb bow or a solid limb bow, you want it on the outside, the rest side. So the rest sits here. You obviously want it on this side. You don't want to run it across. So basically just alcohol your limb there, and stick that limb pad down. You're going to tie your D-loop knot and get her going. This one I already have tied down to the bottom limb. All this is a regular D-loop knot. You want to tie it with a knot on the outside of the limb, not on the inside. Just gives you a little bit better clearance. Some guys like to have it in there for some reason. They think it keeps it out of the way more, if the cord is actually coming in here and down. But typically you want it out here. That's going to keep it away from the things the most and have a more direct up-down travel when it goes through the actual stopper. So with the new stopper, when you run it off the bottom limb, obviously, like I said, set it up the exact same way, but this is going to be the opposite. So run your cord up through the bottom on the inside of the stopper, maybe. Get up through there, and then all I gotta do is just pull down. I'm pulling down on this tag end. That's gonna run run your launcher arm down. You want it to go all the way down, obviously. Notice this is nice and loose. You don't want it super tight. A lot of guys like to put and come along on there and try to get as tight as they can. All you're gonna do is run into problems. All it has to be is tight enough to hold the launcher arm in the down position. That's all it is. As soon as you draw and relax that cable, your launcher arm is going to come up, and as soon as you shoot, it's going to come down. You don't want it tight where it's going to be slamming down. It's already It's already coming down fast enough. It stays up longer during the shot cycle, so it's not a what you would call a quicker falling fall away, but it's a faster drawing fall away. Not earlier in the shot cycle. It falls later in the shot cycle, but it actually drops at a faster rate. So let's pull down on that. Tighten your set screw. Like I said, I don't tighten it real tight. I get it just snug, just snug enough to where it holds the cord in place. Give it a nice, just a little bit more of a turn, you're good to go. I mean, you can see I still got a lot of play in there. And typically the first time you install this, you may need to shoot it a few times. You may notice that your launcher arm actually raises up at rest. That's basically because your cord's setting in. That knot that you tied, it's going to take it a few times for that knot to get actually set into where it's going to be. But once you get it all set up, usually I'd say 20 shots tops, it's ready to roll. We have some guys that do pre-stretch this material. They'll put it on a jig and actually stretch it as much as they can. I personally don't do that. I've never had an issue with it stretching. I've had limb drivers on for a couple years without ever messing with the cord, and it's never moved. So shouldn't have much of a problem there. But that's pretty much your just a quick little installation video with the new stopper. If you have any questions, just give me a holler at the shop. I'd be more than happy to walk you through everything. If you need to tear this down for some reason, I can usually walk you right through it. But hopefully, the video should get you, get you to where you know kind of what you're doing at least. And let me know if you need anything else.